Emergencies. They can happen to anyone, anywhere, at any time. They don't discriminate, they don't take breaks, and they definitely don't take vacations. But they can take your life in a second. Every day, hundreds of thousands of brave men and women take to the streets and answer the call for help. Unfortunately, with this job comes a very high risk of emotional and mental trauma. Today, we're going to take a look at some of the stressors that can cause this trauma, some warning signs for people that may need help, and some resources that people can use to get help. My name is Dalton DeLima, and this is Invisible Trauma.
So working as a paramedic, obviously there's a lot of stress associated with it. We're walking into people's worst days routinely, and we're the ones expected to kind of go in and try and fix it, or at least make it a little bit better.
As EMS providers, there are so many different things that we see on a daily basis that no regular civilian or person ever gets to see. You know, we see car crashes, we see death, we see shootings, stabbings, overdoses, all kinds of crazy things, and it really can take a toll on the mind. It really can.
The most common big stressors like instantaneous, oh my gosh type stuff would probably have to deal with trauma. Whether it be a car accident or a train or a knife or a bullet, you know, those are the things that I think are instantaneously a very chaotic, traumatic event.
Anything with kids is always going to be tough. I was an EMT at this point. I was probably 4 or 5 months into my EMS career. No, we got a call around 2 in the morning for a baby not breathing. We got on scene. The paramedic truck got there before us. It was a 12-hour-old baby that obviously born earlier that day. The parents brought him home from the hospital against medical advice. They try and keep you for 24 hours just to observe. The hospital told them, yep, perfect baby. And they signed out, didn't want to stay. I guess the moral of the story is don't put your brand new baby in bed with you, because the dad woke up around 2:15, 2:30 in the morning with the baby underneath him, totally blue, no pulse, not breathing, and he wound up, he didn't make it. And I mean, anything with a kid, especially somebody that young who never even had a chance at life, is always going to be tough.
A young girl many years ago, husband called. She was first baby between this couple, the high school sweet. I mean, just an absolute book story, you know, high school, you know, sweethearts. They live in a house. It literally had a white picket fence. You know, he called because she was having a seizure, and we got there. She wasn't seizing anymore, and she was a VFib arrest, which means she had no pulse. She was not breathing. So me and my partner, we did everything we did, and we got pulses back. I mean, we got a pulse back. She had a good blood pressure. You know, she had some cognitive movement with her arms and legs that wasn't a seizure, but, you know, nothing more positive than getting a young girl back that's pregnant. Well, they scanned her and she had a huge bleed. She had a huge head bleed. I mean, it was so significant, her brain started to shift, which is just non-life sustaining. So, you know, here we are, you know, saving a life that's gonna die anyway.
As you can see, nobody is immune from this risk. However, there are some resources that you can use to get help. Here's a few of them.
So obviously working in a high stress environment like this is going to take a toll on you. And I mean, I know we're in a uniform, and this goes for police, fire, and ambulance, but at the end of the day, we're human. And we have the same emotions as everybody else, and it takes just as much a toll on us as it would on anybody. Your coworkers are really one of your best lifelines. You can talk to your family about it, you can talk to whoever, but they're not going to understand it like somebody who's done it and been through it, even sometimes maybe alongside you. especially working in an ambulance where you have a partner who's there too. You always, after you have a tough call, you sit there, and even maybe in the hospital parking lot right after, talk about how you think it went, what we could have done different, what went well, and just kind of debriefing.
Being a first responder, being a paramedic, is an incredibly chaotic lifestyle. We see things that most people just wish they see on the news. Me and my coworkers deal with that every day. And my home life is just as chaotic, certainly a different chaos. You know, with 4 kids, one of them being chronically ill. I try to find at least a half hour a day, whether it's alone in the car or after everybody's in bed for the night. I sit down and just decompress.
My message to any first responders out there watching this, if you're having any sort of PTSD symptoms, if you're feeling stressed after a bad call, if you're having issues in your family life, anything else as a result of work, get help. There's nothing to be embarrassed about in asking for help. There's plenty of resources out there, whether it's through your company, through your own doctor, through a nonprofit like Code Green. There's plenty of help out there for you.
I think that the best thing we can do as providers for one another is just be there. You know, be able to talk to your partner, be able to listen to your partner, because that's very different than talking to them, and be able to really just debrief. Don't be afraid to talk to your supervisor if you need help, if you need to take some time off after that call, that one call that really gets to you. And don't be afraid to talk to whoever you think you need to talk to, talk it out, because talking is probably going to be your #1 most advantageous thing, I would say.
With the clinical incident stress debriefing, you know, that's a great program. I'm actually a certified debriefer. And depending on my conversation with whoever I'm talking to, if I feel that they're going to be okay, you know, everything's okay. If not, we have programs in place to get outpatient care. There are some organizations that we can send them to get the help that they need. So I guess that would probably be the first thing I would tell anybody. The first activity I would tell them to do is realize that before you get to that self-destructive phase, this profession might have an end date.
Well, as you can see, emotional and mental trauma is something that's very real and something that first responders face on a daily basis. I hope that this video has been able to teach you some of the warning signs to look out for in yourself and in others, and has taught you some valuable resources that you or others can use in order to get help. My name is Dalton DeLima, and this has been Invisible Trauma.